The rider sitting third in the MotoGP World Championship will not turn a wheel this weekend, and it has nothing to do with a racing accident. Ai Ogura broke his left thumb training on a motorbike at a track near Tokyo in the quiet weeks when nothing is supposed to happen. Trackhouse has already handed his Aprilia to Lorenzo Savadori, a test rider whose only outing this year was a wild card at Jerez. The team put out the surgery update, the recovery wishes, the careful medical language. What nobody has said out loud is what this actually costs him. Is this really just one lost weekend? Or did Ai Ogura's championship end on a training track in Japan? Look at what is standing still here. Ogura is 37 points behind Jorge Martin with 10 rounds left, this weekend included. He has 4 Grand Prix podiums, including the win at Assen, 3 sprint podiums, and now a plate in his hand. This is a satellite garage in its 3rd MotoGP season, running the same bikes Noale builds for the Works team, with a second-year rider beating factory riders on merit. Aragon was where that finally got tested against the 2 men in front of him. Instead, the bike goes out with somebody else on it, and everyone chasing Ogura gets a free weekend to close on a rider who cannot defend a single point. The sequence matters more than the injury does. MotoGP left Silverstone and the calendar opened up. Ogura went home to Japan and trained on a bike, which is what every rider on this grid does in a break. He crashed. Nothing about that part is unusual. What happened next is where it turned. He flew back to Europe, and the real diagnosis only arrived once he landed. A fracture close to the left thumb. It needed surgery. Trackhouse had already circulated the weekend's media schedule with his name still on it, and the withdrawal landed afterwards, late, with the paddock already unpacking in Aragon. Savadori got the call at short notice. The 32 goes on the fairing of a bike that has been running third in a world championship, ridden by a man whose job all year has been development, not racing. The team thanked him for stepping in at such short notice, which sounds like ordinary courtesy until you count what short notice actually means here. The last time Savadori replaced an injured rider was Portimao last year, standing in for Jorge Martin, and he finished 16th outside the points. That is the honest ceiling of that bike this weekend. Start with the thing Trackhouse would not say. Their own statement reads, Dr. Mir, who performed the procedure, has reported that Ai's left thumb fracture has been plated, and an assessment on his condition will be made over the coming weekend before a rehabilitation plan is established. There is no rehabilitation plan. There is a date on which they will try to build one. Then comes the line that should worry anyone tracking this title fight. While we hope that Ai will be fit to attend the San Marino Grand Prix, starting in 15 days, at this stage it is too early to confirm. 15 days out and they will not commit. Teams confirm riders when they know. Davide Brivio has been careful in exactly the same way. The target, in his words, is to try to get Ai back for Misano. A target, a hope, not an expectation. And there is one more part of this that almost nobody has put on the board. Ogura is on 203 points. Marc Marquez is on 200. Fabio Di Giannantonio is on 199. Ogura is defending third in the World Championship by 3 points and 4 points, and this weekend he scores exactly 0. Marquez needs one decent sprint. So does Di Giannantonio. And of every circuit on this calendar, Motorland is where Marc Marquez has won 7 Grand Prix, including the last 2 years. Ogura can wake up on Monday in 5th without ever leaving the hospital. But the thumb is not where this started. It is the second hit. After the Silverstone sprint, Ogura was 17 points off Martin and sitting second in the championship. On Sunday, he ran 5th, and on lap 10, he crashed at the final chicane, the first race error he had made all season. 20 points, gone in one afternoon. The gap did not grow. It doubled. His own explanation is the uncomfortable part. He put the crash down to a bit more angle with the same amount of brake pressure, and described losing places off the line because, in his words, I was just adapting to them and I forgot to brake hard enough to turn off the rear device. That is not a mechanical failure, and no rival took him out. That is a second-year rider forcing it because he is the one chasing, and the man he is chasing does not make those mistakes. Now, widen it out, because the shape of this season is uglier than one injury. At Silverstone, Aprilia locked out the podium. Raul Fernandez took the whole shot and led every lap for Trackhouse's second win of the year, his own first. Martin finished second. Bezzecchi finished third. The only Aprilia rider on the ground that afternoon was the one lying second in the championship. Look at the top of the table, and it is the same story in slower motion. Martin, Bezzecchi, Ogura, 2 factory Aprilias and 1 customer Aprilia, which is why the Italian press is already calling this weekend an Aprilia derby. Until this week, it was a 3-way fight inside one manufacturer. Now it is a 2-way factory fight, and the man removed is one of the 2 who leave Aprilia next year, since he and Martin both go to Yamaha. Trackhouse knows it too, and the timing is savage. On Monday of this same week, the team announced Enea Bastianini for 2027, on a 2-year deal beside the already extended Raul Fernandez, formally filling the seat Ogura is vacating. 2 days later, its championship contender was out of the race, because that is the layer underneath all of it. Ogura is chasing Jorge Martin for a championship, and in 2027, he shares a garage with him at Yamaha, both of them on 2-year factory deals announced 3 days after Ogura won his first Premier Class race at Assen. People think he lost a race weekend to a broken thumb. He lost the stretch of season where 37 points was still a number instead of a verdict. So here is where it lands. Aprilia's championship got safer this week, and Aprilia did not have to do a single thing to make it happen. Its 2 factory riders sit first and second. The only customer rider capable of splitting them is recovering from surgery in Barcelona, and the calendar does not wait. That is the brutal arithmetic of this sport. You do not have to be beaten to be removed. Even the best version of what comes next is a downgrade. Say he makes Misano. He arrives with a plate in the thumb of the hand that works the clutch, with no track time since Silverstone, against riders who have just banked a clean weekend of points. Nobody in front of him is losing anything right now, and nobody behind him is either. Ai Ogura is not fighting Jorge Martin for this championship anymore. He is fighting Marc Marquez and Fabio Di Gianantonio to stay on the 3rd step of the standings, and he is doing it from a hospital bed. The title run he earned all season just quietly became a defence of the position he already had. The question was never whether Ogura can be fit for Misano. It is whether there is still a championship waiting when he gets there. Do you think Ai Ogura was ever really going to catch Jorge Martin? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video appearing on your screen right now.